Hello everyone and welcome back to Through the Dragon Glass. Before we get started, hit that thumbs up notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and please leave a comment, and most importantly tell a friend. It's actually pretty important that you leave a comment, I think more so than tell a friend. Most of you are not going to tell a friend, so just leave a comment, just do it. Do it now. Alright, so we are on Chapter 9, The Agricultural Depression of the Secrets of the Federal Reserve by Eustace Mullins. Let's get started. In 1918, Paul Warburg retired from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors and was replaced by Albert Strauss. Strauss was an international banker that had interests in Cuba and South America and had a hand in funding several revolutions in those countries.
Simple villagers, I promise you I will close plants in America and bring work here.
Viva, Senor Burns!
Strauss met with the other members of the Federal Reserve Board, which set in motion the agricultural depression of 1920. During the creation of the Federal Reserve, it was advertised that it would take care of farmers.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
The Federal Reserve was to give the country money and credit, but not to help farmers. World War I had brought prosperity to the United States with high stocks and an increased amount of money circulation. The Federal Reserve wanted to take control over the prosperity that was created as a result of the war. This was accomplished with the agricultural depression of 1920. As World War I drew to an end, the uncertainty caused stocks to start dropping.
We're all gonna be rich!
We broke even!
In 1919, Eugene Meyer Jr. used the Federal Reserve to finance the stock market, taking government securities as payments. This ended up causing the Great Depression by an inflation of money and an increase of interest to banks. Between 1916 and 1920, the Federal Reserve interest rates were as low as 3%.
And there's so many TVs, microwaves, radios, I'm not 100% sure what we have here in stock because I can't see anything. Our prices, I hope, aren't too low.
This was done to create billion-dollar war bonds called Liberty Loans to fund the war.
The tall man with the high hat will be coming down your way. Get your savings out when you hear him shout, any bonds today.
The Liberty Bonds' purpose was to take away money that was being circulated from the war. Laborers and farmers were accumulating millions of dollars that were not returning to Wall Street through Liberty Loans. These bankers wanted that money and created the agricultural depression of 1920. Most of the circulated money by farmers were going to small banks with low interest rates. The farmers had rejected the Federal Reserve as they did not see a need for it. The Federal Reserve set the Federal Farm Loan Board to encourage farmers to invest in the land with long-term loans. As the farmers were investing in the Federal Reserve, bankers were allowing inflation to take place in Europe in order to pay off debt the Allies owed the American people. As prices increased in the United States, the money farmers had became worth less and less. Farmers, unlike laborers, are more self-sufficient, and increasing prices would not have as large of an impact on them compared to others. The farmers had to be dealt with more severely if the bankers wanted to take their money. In the early part of 1920, the farmers were exceedingly prosperous. They were paying off the mortgages and buying a lot of new land. At the insistence of the government, had borrowed money to do it, and then they would bankrupt by a sudden contraction of credit and currency, which took place in 1920. What took place in 1920 was just the reverse of what should have been taking place. Instead of liquidating the excess of credit created by the war through a period of years, the Federal Reserve Board met in a meeting which was not disclosed to the public. They met on the 18th of May 1920, and it was a secret meeting. Only the big bankers were there, and their work of that day resulted in a contraction of credit, which had the effect the next year of reducing the national income $15 billion, throwing millions of people out of employment, and reducing the value of land and ranches by $20 billion. At one point, farmers were being denied credit altogether, but later it was set at 7%.
Denied!
When Eugene Meyer Jr. was asked by Congress to justify 7% increase in rates, he explained that if the banks were under the control of the Federal Reserve instead of a separate body, the local banks' interest would have never increased.
What a load of crappy crap.
Quiet, boy. I have a feeling some bad stuff is about to go down.
Non-member banks were allowed to do business with the Federal Reserve, but were not under direct control. Another explanation, quote-unquote, for the increase in rates was to cause, quote-unquote, anti-inflation. He never explained why it was only towards farmers.
Oh, what a load of crap!
The Federal Reserve was supposed to protect this from happening, not cause it. Once again, I want to remind everyone to hit that thumbs up, notification bell, subscribe button, leave a comment, and tell a friend about me. Thanks, guys.